We made it to Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and this is the Trompenburg Arboretum. I hope I'm not butchering that too badly. This is a really beautiful arboretum. This part of the garden that we're in over here was originally a formal kind of English garden. It's evolved somewhat over the years, and then as the garden has evolved, so has gardening, and I think we'll see some more plantings for pollinators and more plantings with, you know, leaving things in place if a tree falls and those kinds of things. But originally, you know, gardening in the 17, 18, 1900s was a lot of formal English garden, you know, type of gardening. They have an incredible rhododendron collection here, and I mean a really great rhododendron collection. I've seen this, you know, I was at the Berlin Botanic Garden a couple of years ago, didn't do any filming there. Their collection is amazing too, but it's a lot of North American species, a lot of Asian species. I don't know them. I mean, it's amazing. I so lost at the Berlin Botanic Garden. That was in May years ago, and they were in bloom at that time. This is a beautiful metasequoia called Miss Grace. Perfect name for it. Just a graceful weeping metasequoia. I don't know how long this has been here, but it's got a trunk. It's about 12 inches around down at the base, so it's definitely been here a while. A little jealous of their Astilbe here in the Netherlands. It's a really interesting space here in Rotterdam. You would think you would not have so many of the leafy evergreens and some of the Zone 7 things that we can grow at home. It appears that you really lose some of the tender Zone 7 things, some things like Loropetalum or Distilium that we might say are Zone 7 but can really be stung in a cold winter. It's mostly the leafy evergreens that we would say that are 6B hardy or definitely 7A hardy are here. And so that would be things like Abelia, which are, you know, considered Zone 6 hardy. We saw some Nandinas out front. There are crepe myrtles here. There are, you know, so some of those crossover things. So it's they're this close to being able to grow all the things we can grow, but they're this close to being able to grow some of the northern things that we would really like to grow. So, you know, there's Duravilla, these Astilbe, which we can grow in Raleigh, of course, but they don't, you know, they don't necessarily grow like these are growing. There's snowberries and a lot of the northeastern shrubs that we would love to grow in our area seem to grow fine here. And then again, they overlap a bit with some of the leafy evergreens. So just a real sweet spot, you know, and that was the same thing up in Amsterdam. We were just amazed. There's olives planted in the ground that are doing fine. The southern magnolias that are here, and we consider some of those as cold hardy, as Zone 6B. You can see the tops get knocked out of them and they just kind of spread outward a bit more, but they still are striking in the garden even without a central leader in them. Okay. Let's do a few North American conifers. Look at this Taxodium. This went in 1870. So this is a native to the southeast United States. And this is a heck of a specimen. You know, this is a, you know, cultivated tree, you know, in a garden like this. So it's been watered, it's been babied, it's been mulched, it's been cleaned around, its competition has been kept at bay, and all those things. And look at just the massive tree that this has become since it was brought here in 1870. Around the corner, so there's quite a few conifers on this, what was the original formal garden over here. Apparently these were things collected from all over the world and brought back to this garden. And this is a Thuja occidentalis, which is, we know to be native of the Northeast and up into Canada. And you guys will know Emerald arborvita and DeGroots arborvita and all the little ones and big ones. And there's so many varieties. This one is, it has a gold tint to it. It's Douglas gold. Has a little bit of a gold hue to it, but I thought that was interesting because that we've seen a southeast native, and then there's a northeast native, and then if we come here, this is Abies concolor, which is the Colorado fir. So not a Colorado blue spruce, as you might think, that's Picea. This is Abies, and this is the blue form of the Colorado fir right here. See that? How beautiful that is. And it has been here for a long time, and it's a little contorted, and you know, it's seen a lot of days here. And if we walk a little further down, some really fun conifers in here. A lot of fun conifers in here. This is another Thuja occidentalis. right here. This one's been sheared, and you can see they continue to shear it to make it that narrow. But there's a Cupressus sempervirens back here, which is Italian cypress, and that's a gold version of it right there. Swain's Golden is that variety. But look at that gold Italian cypress again. But here's a thread-like Cryptomeria japonica, so a Japanese Cryptomeria. But then I wanted to get back to, here is the Rocky Mountain fir right here. This is Abies lasiocarpa, and this is the blue form of it. So this is the Rocky Mountain fir. These are kind of soft to the touch, really, much more so than you would think. So we've got the western part of the country, the northeastern part of the country, and the southeastern part of the country covered in here. So you see, when they went out collecting plants from all over the world, they got a lot of them from North America, which is kind of fun. That's just a Stygian beach, right?
Yeah.
One of the Asian rhododendrons here. Rhododendron named after a Native American tribe. Oh, that's something. We found a grove of western red cedars, otherwise known as Thuya plicata. Green giant arborvitae is like half plicata. But these were planted in 1870. And what I can't figure out is this one plant? I'm sure this is one plant, this piece that's laying on the ground going that direction over there, and then has the vertical pieces that go probably 40 feet tall over there that you can't see. And then this one that's 40 or 50 feet tall. And I'm thinking that this is just another piece of it over here. And that what's happened here is this is actually just a colony of western red cedars. And it was like one original planted plant. And it's just branches have laid down in time and they've rooted into the ground. But it's about 15 degrees cooler in this spot. It's unbelievable what a grove of trees, of conifers like this can actually do to a space. You get a little moisture in the ground, you get a tree over your head, and instantly, you know, the heat of the city is just gone. You might be able to see a koi fish in the canals here. Steph is trying to get over to one now. But there are canals running through here just like you would expect anywhere in the Netherlands, because that's, you know, the canals just are everywhere. They're beneficial, you know, to all the farming activities that are everywhere in this country. We did find a Canadian hemlock over here, so you know, another North American conifer. But this Cephalotaxis is unbelievable. Look how big this actually is. We talk about Cephalotaxis a lot. Cephalotaxis just means you like, but it's not a you. Cephalotaxis has these little green fruit on them basically here. This is actually roastable and edible, and I did not mean to knock that off. That's not something I should do at a botanic garden. That was a complete and total accident as I was just trying to show it off. But there's lots of them on here, but they can actually be roasted and eaten. Apparently, I've never tried it. Deer don't eat this, and so typically they will eat yews. They're hardy in zone 6, but there's ground cover ones that get this and spreading 3 to 4, 5 foot ones, and then very tall growing ones as well. But this is definitely the biggest single specimen I've ever seen. I thought it was a group of planted in here, but it's just one plant that's gotten this wide. Here's a Chinese juniper that's familiar to lots of folks in our area in Raleigh, North Carolina, and all over North America, really, because this is Torrelusa juniper, Hollywood juniper. Has a mind of its own. Like, you couldn't grow 2 of these the same if you wanted to. This one's just got an interesting form. It's been here, I don't know how long ago it was planted, but obviously a very, very long time ago. And it's just become this gnarly, it looks muscular, frame to it that it has with these branches that come off. And again, you couldn't grow 2 of these the same if you wanted to, which is what makes this plant so unique, really. This is one of the reasons I've always been drawn to Torrelusa or Hollywood. Here's a southern magnolia. So literally one of these growing. This variety is called Tulsa. I don't know what makes that one significant. I don't know if it's meant to be if it's more cold hardy or why it was picked. I'm guessing so, with the name Tulsa, that this one must be one that has survived some cold weather in Oklahoma. But again, this is a plant that's native to our back garden at the house. I always like to point out, and I pointed out that incredible garden in Amsterdam, the Hortus, because they had the plants laid out by their history of the evolutionary history of flowering plants, from conifers to becoming flowering plants. And you can see on this magnolia, basically the seeds are formed in a cone. Oh, you found one without me having to do all that. Okay, there you go. That's basically the seed formation is happening in a cone after the flower was pollinated earlier in the season. And of course, you're always going to get these yellow interior leaves on these magnolias. They're always going to drop leaves underneath. It's just living with the southern magnolia, really, but they are incredibly beautiful. We'll see metasequoias, sequoias, but rarely do we see Sequoiadendron giganteum, the giant sequoia, outside of that a small area on the west coast. Not anywhere near as big as the giant sequoias you're going to see out there, but maybe one day it will be. But that was fun to run across right there for sure. There's a sequoia here next to it. Here's a Cunninghamia. We showed off this blue Cunninghamia in our garden a week or 2 ago. Well, I don't know when this will go up. So within the last month, our blue Cunninghamia, Chinese fir is what it is. But this is the glauca, which is the blue form. There's blue and green forms of this, but the blue one's super, super showy. I don't know how long this one's been here, but we've seen them big. We've seen them much, much bigger than this for sure. So this plant can get quite big. It's amongst some competition in here for some space with some other conifers, but it is a striking blue when you see this one. The lighting might be a little shadowy on this one, so it may not show up quite as well, but this is Thuya orientalis, Frankie boy, which we have next to the porch at the house, otherwise known as Platycladus orientalis as well. Several other names, or Orientals, all kinds of names for this one. But you can see this one can be sheared into a little Christmas tree form, or it can just be allowed to become this kind of open weeping habit that it has here. Because of where we have ours planted next to the porch, it'll have to be maintained a little bit more formally than this, probably. I don't think this would quite fit in that little corner that we've got it planted in, but this has also got a lot of years on it. I don't know that I've ever had a garden slow me down so much as this one. I mean, it is an unbelievable collection of pieces in here. This cryptomeria is just strikingly beautiful. I mean, it is really, really special. There's a pyramidal Cedrus atlantica up there, up above our head, and behind that a weeping golden beech. And that weeping golden beech must be 40 feet tall plus, 50 feet tall, something like that, with those branches, those gold branches coming down, and then it's moving in the wind. It's really super striking. Pfitzer, juniper, that's completely Completely wild. A lot of Lausianas in here. This, look at this gold Lausiana here. Pinus thunbergii, which we filmed a bunch of out west, and will again this year, I'm sure. The deodar, oh, it's a weeping deodar, like feeling blue or something. They probably have a different, maybe have a different name for it over here. Design in blue. Divinely blue. Okay, it's similar. I mean, we have this in our garden in Raleigh. A lot of different cryptomeria in here. Beautiful blue spruce straight ahead there. Picea pungens glauca procumbens. So that's very similar to the one we have planted next to the porch. Of course, ours is not growing like that. There's some Verbena bonariensis back here, which I'm sure just comes from seed, wherever it comes up, but the bees love it. So St. John's wort back in here, Steph. You see this St. John's wort has the flowers on it up front. Right there. The bees will go crazy for those. I think is that a variegated Leucothele to the left of that? That's what it is, right? Yes. Boy, this thing looks great. Our versions of this just look rough in Raleigh when we try to grow these in that clay soil. I think this is a bit more sand in this soil. This really flat juniper here. A lot of clethra. You filmed some clethra over there, right? With the bees on it. There's a ton of clethra, our great southeast native. And it colonizes a bit here too. Same thing it does in the Raleigh garden. Look at this weeping Ilex aquifolium. It's variegated. It's variegated and weeping. I mean, look at this thing. I want that plant. I don't think I want one that big because of our size of our garden, but would I want one of those? I would absolutely want one of those, and that's one we can actually grow in Raleigh. And the rhododendrons just go on and on. The conifers go on and on. The rhododendrons, the collection is just absolutely amazing. They don't have as many hydrangeas as we would think they would have, considering how great they look in the garden. You go from that red one over here to this near purple one. The foliage looks great. The flowers look great. Obviously they get enough chill hours to make them, you know, fully vernalize them, and maybe that's a little small, you know, smaller than it might be if it got a little more cold, but still, everything looks great about it. So they haven't overdone them here. What is this to the left of it, Steph? Yeah, that's a clarodendron. I'm just noticing that clarodendron, which we've shown off several times now in our garden over the last month or two, that we have one of these next to the shed in full bloom. This one's going to bloom much later in the season than ours is, but it is going to have time to bloom. So I didn't. It's an amazing collection of plants here. They have this one pathway here that they use these heavy steel structures to tree form these wisteria. And there's several different species of wisteria. I haven't seen frutescens, which is our native one. I think most of these are Chinese or Asian species. But notice, you know, these are in the pea family. And so you get that, that's what the seed forms in, is basically amounts to a pea pod. You can really see it in the flowers when they're blooming. So we're later than the flowers here, but they've turned these wisteria, they've prevented them from being invasive and climbing on something else, you know, so they basically tamed them on a structure and turn them into these really cool tree forms. I take that back. Here's frutescens right here. This is Amethyst Falls. This is a named one that you can find readily in North Carolina and around gardens and all over. If Wisteria is hardy in your area, we do have a native option. That Wisteria collection is mind-boggling, honestly. I mean, that's just, I never seen anything like that. Every single one of them is a different one. All the way around this pond. The pond is beautiful, and it connects to all those locks back there. A couple other interesting North American natives. Here's Itea virginiana. I grew so many of Henry's garnet Itea, I can't even tell you. That one's already getting its fall color going here in August. As the days get shorter here, it's already developing that beautiful fall color. Of course, it blooms in the spring, as it's leafing out, and then, has pollinators on it. And then this can colonize a bit in the ground. That's been worked on a lot in the breeding over the years. And Steph and I have never seen it in the wild where it didn't have its feet in the water. And I mean in the water, but it somehow translates to our really tough garden spaces. There's a Mahonia back here, which is a species native to California. And I think, can you get in there a little closer, Steph, and show that one off? This is Pinada, or Pineda. And it's similar to aquifolium, which is the Oregon great polly, but this one's called the Oregon barberry or the Oregon great polly, or the California Oregon great polly, like a lot of common names for it. It's a species very similar. I mean, if you looked at it when we walked past it, we immediately thought Oregon great polly for sure, Mahonia aquifolium, but it is a different species, and this one's a little more southern in the range into California. So there you go. There's a few things at this garden, and I think I'll have Steph pan around here to the right and just pan a circle here. This is just one particular little circular spot in this garden, and it's unbelievable. Every single entrance and exit out of this space is unique in some way. There's a weeping deodar cedar as one of the exits out on the other side over there. It's just super striking. This pine is unbelievable. Just an incredible collection of conifers here, an incredible collection of plants from around the world, really. And there you go. So thank you guys for following along with our travels here. We have been fortunate enough to do a video now in Iceland, one up in Amsterdam and one down here in Rotterdam. And I say down here just because it's a little south of Amsterdam. We're heading up kind of to the middle next, and you'll hopefully see some video content coming from Boskop. We're staying with a friend in Boskop. There's like 500 plant nurseries in and around Boskop, and then we're going to spend a few days with another friend a little east over in Teal, and we'll see some interesting things there, we hope to bring you, including all kinds of garden activities like this, nursery content, and content related to a big giant formal garden we hope we can get into and see. So thank you guys for following along with this trip. This Pinus strobus is one of the coolest plants in this entire garden. We finished the video and then saw this. Look at this gold Pinus strobus. It's a little hot in our area for these. This one's called Louis, but if you're in an area where you can grow this, look at that thing. It's the brightest thing in this garden.